Hey, what's going on, guys? Wolfie Racing here. Just wanted to let you guys know I'm making a video how to change the oil on the 2019 Ford Ranger. A lot of people say, and there's a lot of articles on Google, that it's tough or it's hard or because of the placement of the oil filter. It is in the driver's front wheel well. And quite frankly, you don't need to take the wheel off. You don't really need to jack it up. I'll show you today what you can do just to get it off with minimal effort. Let's get to it. All right, so the tools we're gonna need today to do this oil change on the 2019 Ford Ranger is a Phillip head screwdriver, an oil filter wrench that is 76 millimeter with 14 flutes. That's going to go onto an extension for your wrench so that you can reach it from without taking the wheel off. And then to take the skid plate off and to take your drain plug off, you're going to need a 15 millimeter socket. And then obviously you're going to need your oil. It's 6.2 quarts of oil and the FL9107 oil filter. And one thing I want to let you guys know, the oil filter that Ford puts on it from the factory is actually smaller than the one that they recommend for you to use in the owner's manual. So if you went out and bought one of these guys like I did, it's not going to fit the one from the factory. It's a little bit smaller. All right, guys, so step one is actually going to be taking off the skid plate. Due to mine being a FX4, I have a skid plate on there. It's going to need a 15 millimeter socket, and I'll show you what you got to do. All right, guys, it's a little hard to see, but you're going to have 4 bolts. They're 15 millimeters, as I said. These two up front that are the furthest towards the engine, you're actually going to only loosen these. And then you're gonna have 2 more down here, right here, and these ones you're gonna fully take off, and then the skid plate will slide right out. All right, so now that we have that skid plate off, we're underneath the engine right here, and we can actually take a peek at the drain plug for the oil pan. Alright, guys, so the nice thing that Ford did was it is also a 15 millimeter to get off the drain plug for your oil. Just make sure you have something that is ready to catch the oil so it doesn't get all over your driveway. And then you're just going to take off that 15 millimeter bolt right there. Alright, I like to just loosen it and then hand thread it. Alright, guys, so next part I'm going to do is taking off the oil filter and putting a new one in. So while that's draining out, I wanted to show you guys kind of what you have to do in here. So you're going to have to take off this little engine screen right here. There's I think about 6 of those different push little tabs that you're going to undo, and then that thing will fold right down and the oil filter is right behind it. So I think it's, yeah, right, 1, 2, yeah, all done there. So that's next. Alright, guys, so what I found is with these little guys, it's a Phillips screwdriver. If you just put it a light pressure, it actually will start coming out, and it comes out enough to where you can actually grab it out and take it out. And then this part right here, that just comes out right behind it. So it's real easy. You just got to take off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you'll be able to get to the oil filter. Alright, guys, so it ended up only being 3 of the pins or the little plastic things you got to take off right there. And then if you see this little brake line, be careful with this, but what you're going to want to do is just take this little flap and you're going to want to put it underneath this brake line right here. Be nice and careful not to mess it up, and voila, right there is your oil filter. Alright guys, this may be my favorite part about the truck. So I don't know if you can see this little guy right here, but this is a little trough or a little gateway where once you undo the oil filter, the oil from the oil filter is going to fall right down there. So putting it like kind of like right there, I like to have almost the front of it right in line with that front tire. As you can see, it's right up there, so it should land right there. Ford recommends for our truck, you're going to want to get a 76 millimeter oil filter wrench with 14 flutes, and that'll satisfy once you get past that first oil change. As you can see in there, that oil wrench is on. I'm just spinning it nicely for it to come off. Once it comes off, oops, I feel like I can take it off with my hand. I'll do that, and then you hear the oil start going. It should be falling right in that little trough that we set it up for. And then you're going to want to hold your oil filter, face it downward so it goes down in that trough, all the oil gets out of there. You can hear it. Get all that oil out. And then just... So once you get that oil filter out, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take some of this old oil right here, and you're just going to want to put it on that gasket right there, just so that it gets on nice smoothly and just gets a real nice tight seal on there for you. Alright, now to get this thing back in there, it's just simple enough. Watch that brake line, and then you're just going to get in there, feel where it is, rotate her on. I personally just like to hand tighten these. Alright guys, make sure once everything's done draining, oops, you replace that drain plug down here. I like to hand tighten it all the way in and then torque it down. You don't want to torque it down too tight and thread the needles. Ford recommends 6.2 quarts of oil. So I got 7 quarts right here, bought it off Amazon for a great deal. Got the oil filter, the FL910S, and I'm actually going with full synthetic. Alright guys, so the last couple steps here, just making sure that drain plug is fully tightened, and then we're going to be putting a skid plate back on. So we're going to have to put those 2 bolts here and then tighten those right up there. And then let's just put our cap back on. Right there, and make sure you just double check that your your drain plug is tight and that your oil filter is tight. And you're gonna have to put these clean this flat back up. And thanks guys for watching, and always please just subscribe to my channel, follow me on Instagram, Wolfie Racing. Thanks.